Hey guys, how's it going? It's Andy from MagooInvesting. Happy Tuesday. Today we're going to be continuing on with the Robinhood top stocks, and today we're going to be talking about PayPal, one of my favorites, ticker symbol PYPL. And so last week I believe we talked about one of its main competitors, Square. I'll throw that up right there if you missed that last week. And we talked about Square, and I talked about how I think that PayPal is a better option. And so on the Robinhood list of top stocks, Square is actually ranked higher based on popularity over PayPal. And so in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down what I see with the PayPal stock, kind of talk about my history with trading the stock, and then look for any short or long-term potential plays that I may see for myself going forward. And so before we get any further, I've got to say I'm not a licensed financial advisor, so I'd highly recommend talking to a professional, someone that give you the best advice for your money going forward. And also, I thought I'd try this out a little differently. If you've kind of enjoyed this series, I'd really appreciate if you hit that like button. I know when I'm watching videos, I kind of forget by the time I get towards the end, and it'd help my channel out a lot, and I'd really appreciate it. So the PayPal company is just kind of the e-commerce god when I kind of think of it. It started off really popular with eBay, and then now has become mainly in e-commerce, and they do stuff with Venmo, which is probably, if I had to pick a favorite company out there, there's something that I use very frequently and I love to death, Venmo is that company. It's an app I use on my phone. I pay rent, just had utilities charged to me this month through Venmo. Actually, when I went into college, I was kind of an advisor for freshmen coming in, and they would ask me, what is one thing that you'd recommend me doing before I come to college? And the one thing that I recommended was get Venmo downloaded because everyone uses it and it'll save you so much time. I remember being in high school where we'd go out, get something, and to try to pay back your friend with cash was such a pain because carrying cash sucks. And having Venmo and just having it linked to your credit card and just have them send the money, perfect. So it's a company that I really love, and that's kind of the reason why when I first came in to start investing, PayPal was one of the companies I looked at first. And so on I think my first trade was actually on PayPal. It was done at $80. Now it's over $100, and with recent good earnings, it's been pushed up, and I think the outlook on the company is better, or is just as good as it was a year ago. And so with that being said, let's hop on over to the computer and talk about PayPal, ticker symbol PYPL. And so here we are again on Robinhood talking about the top stocks. Today we're talking about PayPal. We got to go down a little bit, which is kind of surprising based off of its track record, and kind of, it's a pretty known company. We have some companies up here that I've never even heard of, but then you got to go down a little bit until you get to PayPal right here. It's in at $107 with 34,000 or 39,000 people owning it with an 80% buy rating. It's pretty flat on the day. Weekly, we had the push up because of great earnings. Month, around the same. Down in the 3 month, and then up 28% in the 1 year, and then 5 year is up 182%. As I mentioned, 80% buy rating. No dividend, which is fine. Not something I really look for. And this is what we kind of look for when looking for a possible stock to hold for a long-term position. And so when PayPal has an 80% buy rating and the rest is in hold, and there's just 2% in sell, which probably means that it's one person saying sell, I kind of like that. Earnings have been good recently, and then as you see, this is a company that I owned when it was $77 and $79. So I've been in PayPal for a while. As we go over onto TD Ameritrade, you can see that we have some charts drawn out here. I hadn't looked at the charts until now, and I think it's really funny. I always set alerts just for look for important zones where I'd be willing to take a position. And just a couple days ago, I gotta zoom out a little bit. Just right here, it looks like it was like 1 cent away from hitting my alert. This was a zone I was watching. If it came down to here, ended up not, and then earnings pushed it back up. So I kind of missed out on that just by a couple cents. Kind of sad, but it's all right. When we go back further, you can see that in the past couple years, PayPal has been doing incredible, pushing up. When I first started trading, it was around, it was in here. So it's been pretty horizontal, and this was a really good way for me to start out my investing career. I would just kind of, as it would come down here, I would buy, and then as it came up into the mid 80s, I would sell and wait for it to do that. And for a couple times, it worked out pretty great. And then at the end of last year, it just started pushing up, and now it's fallen off of its all-time high. And so from these indicators right here, haven't had a golden cross in a while, and then we had a death cross here recently. And so usually that's a bearish signal as it's been pushing down for a while. basically means that the 50-day average is fallen and the 200-day is still kind of in the same spot. And so with this push up from earnings, I would assume that if this position holds, we'll get another golden cross, and that'll be a good sign. So obviously long term, it's got the track record of pretty good returns since it was, let's see, August of 2015, it was at $30, and now it's at $107. So for a short-term play, you might be able to get a potential trade off of here. I don't love PayPal for a swing trade right now. The reason I did swing trade it back in here was because it was pretty horizontal. You had a lot of kind of predictable price movement, and so it made it really easy to take trades, know when to sell, and just kind of rinse and repeat until it broke out of that trend. And so since it's pushed up for a while, it was a great long-term play. It pushed down here because of earnings, and then the earnings pushed it back up. And then so for a short-term trade, I just don't know. I don't see a lot of great support and resistance right here. When you have a stock that pushes up pretty fast and then falls, you don't get a lot of consolidation, which is where you get your support and resistance from. So for a swing trade, this could have been a zone right here. I'm probably going to trade this stock in the future, so I might as well chart it out a little bit. We'll put that as the zone, and then let's look to see if we can find anywhere else where I'd be. Let's just call the top here a zone. So if I was going to be taking probably a normal swing trade, this would be my price target for the all-time high from 107 up to 120. Short term, I don't see a lot of volatility that'll push it up fast enough to make it warrant taking a trade. And then finally, for a long-term trade, I'd feel pretty confident taking a position here, just kind of based off of what the company is, how confident I am in their product, and then based off of the track record of years of the chart, being able to see that it's pretty steadily moved up, it's consolidated, pushed above that, and now we might see a consolidation phase. But if I was going to be taking a long-term position, I would feel pretty confident taking one with PayPal, just based off of the recent earnings being the catalyst to start pushing it upwards. If we have a golden cross right here, I'd be even more bullish on it, and I really like the increased volume in the past couple of days ever since the earning came out. So if I was going to be starting a long-term trade, PayPal will probably be the top of my list. And now here we are looking at the price forecast like we do for every stock. Year to date, up 27%, which is fantastic. It's sitting at slightly above 50% of its 52-week range, which I kind of talked about. If I was going to be taking a swing trade, the all-time high, or at least a 52-week high, no, it is the all-time high, would be my price target for where I would exit. And then for the forecast, up 40% for the high, down 11% for the low. And so I like this for a long-term trade just because it moves a little bit more than some of the other stocks we've talked about that don't have as much volatility. This isn't the type of company that I would be day trading or taking like a 2 or 3 day swing trade on. This would be something where if I took a position, I'd be willing to hold it for at least 3 months. And so for a long-term price forecast for the next 12 months, I agree with this. A lot of buys for the analysts, no sells, so that's always a good sign. And then on Yahoo Finance, see, it's pretty flat on the day. It has it as a buy, near fair value, up in the short term, neutral in the medium, and then up in the long term. So I pretty much agree with that. I think if you were going to be taking a position in one of these e-commerce companies, I would much rather take a position in PayPal compared to Square. We talked about that a couple of videos ago. It has its 1-year price estimate as 125. So going back to here, that's a little bit above the 52-week high. So as I said, that would kind of be my price target and where I would exit the trade. As I've mentioned in a bunch of videos already, once you get to an all-time high, that's kind of where I'm willing to take profits, just because you don't have as much data to go on. But with a company like this, based off the track record and the steady price movement pushing it up, if it did hit that, I would be confident taking a long-term position and staying in, just because I love the company. It has a special place in my heart, and I think it has the technical analysis to back up a long-term position. And so overall, PayPal is one of my favorite companies, not only just because of their product, because of what their chart looks like as well. When I first started investing, PayPal was something that I first put my money into, and if I had to restart right now, I would do the same thing and start with PayPal. I don't think it has great swing trade potential, just because it's recently had nice earnings that pushed it up, and it just doesn't move that much, which is fine. But for a long-term trade, I love the outlook on PayPal. The price forecast seems very bullish on it. It does have a potential of it going down. Obviously, every stock does. But if I had to start a new portfolio right now, PayPal would be one of the top stocks on that list. So let me know what you think about PayPal in the comment section down below. If you see any potential long or short-term trades, or kind of talk about what I thought with the chart in the comment section down below. And I'll see you in the next video when we talk about another Robinhood top stock tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.